How will climate change affect future demographic trends? Imagine a future where the places people call home are changing in ways we never expected. Climate change is set to reshape how populations move, grow, and age across the United States. This isn't just about weather. It's about people's lives and communities. As sea levels rise and temperatures climb, many will be forced to leave their current homes. Coastal cities and low-lying areas face flooding and erosion, making them less safe and livable. Between 0.8 to 3.4 million Americans might move away from these risky zones by the year 2100. But the real story is bigger because when people migrate, they bring their family patterns and habits with them. This can multiply the population shifts by 5 to 18 times, meaning up to 28 million people could be affected in some regions. As people move northward to escape the heat and floods, the southern and southwestern parts of the country will become less hospitable for farming and living. Meanwhile, northern states will see more people settling in, changing the demographic makeup of those areas. This shift will cause some regions to grow quickly while others shrink. At the same time, communities that are losing residents will face an aging population. Younger adults tend to migrate away, leaving behind older populations. This results in communities with fewer workers, less tax revenue, and fewer resources to handle climate disasters. Racial and ethnic groups will also experience changes. By 2050, the population of non-Hispanic white Americans will decrease, while groups like Hispanic and Asian American populations will grow significantly. Climate impacts tend to hit minority communities harder because they often live in more vulnerable areas. African American and Hispanic populations are more likely to face higher risks from heat waves, flooding, and poor air quality. This means existing disparities in health and wealth could grow worse, as these communities bear the brunt of climate change. Migration driven by climate change will also influence jobs and education. Regions losing residents will see fewer working-age people, which can hurt local economies and reduce tax income. If minority populations grow but have lower college graduation rates, the overall level of education in some areas might decline. Immigration will play a role too. If the United States adopts a high immigration policy, the population could reach over 600 million by the end of the century. But if immigration is limited, the population might stay around 185 million. Climate change might even push more people from other countries to seek refuge in the United States, adding to these demographic shifts. Vulnerable populations, especially those with less income and education, will face the greatest challenges. They often live in the most affected areas and have fewer resources to adapt or recover. Over time, these demographic changes will create a very different picture of America. Some regions will become older and less diverse, while others will see a rise in minority populations and younger families. The economic and social effects of these shifts will be felt across the country, influencing everything from job markets to public health. By the middle of this century, many Americans will experience more days with extreme heat. This will push more people to move and change how communities grow or shrink. The period from 2025 to 2050 will be especially important because the impacts of climate change will accelerate. These demographic shifts will not happen in isolation. They will build on existing trends like aging populations and increasing diversity. The future of America's communities will depend on how well we adapt to these changes and plan for a resilient, inclusive society.